Hi, I'm the Tipsy Gypsy, and thanks for tuning into my channel. I'd like to take a minute here and ask if you would consider making a donation so I can continue to bring you more and better and higher quality content. I'm a one-man show here, and any little bit that you can afford to send is helpful. You don't have to have a PayPal account to make the donation. You just click on the link that I have provided, or you go straight to PayPal and you can type in my PayPal address. That address is paypal.me/MountyRockin. That is MountyRockin. And I hope you enjoy my videos. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm the Tipsy Gypsy. This is going to be the very first video of my, I don't think I've thought of a title for it yet. Maybe my perspective videos. I don't know what I'm going to name it, but it is actually going to be my perspective, because that's all I've got is my perspective. Otherwise, it's yours or someone else's perspective. So those of you who have watched some of my videos know that my husband and I are getting our house ready to sell. So there are several reasons why we haven't been in there. It'll be 3 years in August. And there are several reasons why we're going to sell this so quickly. One of them is we really never intended to stay in this house for the rest of our lives. We certainly expected to be there longer than we are now, but we have had within a month of moving in there, my husband's work truck was stolen, which we never got back. His work truck was broken into, and he's a contractor, so his work truck was broken into. Everything was taken. About a year later, the same thing happened, and in between, they've broken into our shed, and they've broken into our cars, they've broken into our anything that's not tied down, they've taken. They've gone in our backyard, and they've taken things out of the backyard. I had a sprinkler out in the front yard. They took a sprinkler, and they took our hose. And I don't see it stopping. And I think I probably just did not do my homework. There are websites that you can go on and you can look at the crime. I don't remember if I did or if I didn't. I'm pretty good about doing that. But I probably didn't look. I assumed maybe up in this neighborhood that we're in that maybe the crime was less. I don't know. But, and I'm sorry, I keep hitting that. I'm in my car. Okay. So the reason I'm in my car is because we are having work done to our house to get it ready to put on the market. And my husband is in there doing tile right now, so that's all I hear is all kinds of saws and hammers and everything, and I could not make a video, and this has been going on for a week now, so this is quiet. I'm sitting at a park, and it's a beautiful March 5th. It's my mother's birthday today. It's a beautiful day. There's not a chemtrail or a cloud in the sky today. Oh my, that's unusual. So, that's why I'm here. It's too noisy at home. So, not only have we been broken into and stolen from, but we have a neighbor. I think it's just one neighbor. I don't know who it is, who complains about everything we do. I'm talking every last thing that we do. So within a few days of moving into the house had been vacant for, I think about 3 years when we bought it. And within a week, maybe 2, of moving into the house, the city comes by, and somebody had filed a complaint about weeds. And yeah, the house had been vacant for quite a while, so there were some weeds. But you know, we were busy fixing things to make the house livable, you know, like fixing the plumbing and fixing the, there were a lot of issues since the house had been vacant, and it hadn't been, not much work had ever been done to the house. And it's an older house. It was built in the 70s. So we took some time off and went and pulled the weeds. And about a week later, we got a letter saying that somebody had filed a complaint about the weeds. And we thought, okay, well that, you know, they must have sent this letter out before we pulled the weeds. So we get a second letter saying that we need to pull our weeds. And we just ignored it. There, we had pulled the weeds. So we thought they were just, maybe they, I don't know, needed to come out and check for themselves, or, you know, to see that the weeds were pulled. I mean, there were no weeds. We pulled all the weeds, and we spent a good weekend pulling weeds. And so somebody shows up at our door from the city and tells us if we don't comply, that we are going to be cited and we will have to appear in court. And it was a woman, and I said, you know, we pulled the weeds. What is it that we didn't do? So, okay, you guys, this is ridiculous, but this is, I'm gonna have to open a window here. It's kind of warm. So, the lady says, come outside, I'll show you. And she says, I'm really sorry. She says, I know this is ridiculous, but apparently this person who complained about us complains about anything and everything. So, we had these giant old rose bushes. I mean, they were really old. They probably were put in the house when it was built. So they're big and bushy and beautiful. They were filled with roses. And the lady from the city said, underneath, she says, look under here. And literally you had to bend down and look under the rose bush. And there were a few weeds under there, under the rose bush. So whoever was complaining had to have walked by and, you know, tilted their head or bent down and looked under there to, you know, okay. And it didn't stop there. It was nonstop. If we have evergreen bushes along the front and the side, our house is a corner house, so we have two sides exposed to the road. And so we have, like I said, those evergreen bushes in the front and along the side. And boy, if those things, like if we get a good rain and they start growing really fast and you get something that's 2 or 3 inches that sticks out over the sidewalk, they call the city. They call, I lost count of how many letters and visits we got from this city. Because, you know, here in Albuquerque, if there's no rain, things don't grow. If we get rain, something can grow 3 inches, 4 inches, a foot in a week. That's just the nature of the Southwest. That is just how it works. And so if we don't go out there, the weeds can't be over 4 inches tall. So if we don't go out there and pull these weeds, the minute they start to grow, we get a letter from the city. And it's stressful. And a lot of times my husband has to take time off of work to do the stuff that people are complaining about. And, you know, our house has never been run down. And even in the very first time when there were a bunch of weeds, it wasn't overrun with weeds. So, and then the last thing that happened was we were building a deck, starting to build a deck in the backyard, because our backyard is built on a slope, and you really can't walk out there because it's rocks and then it's a slope and you can't really do anything. So we were going to build a deck so that we could actually go out and enjoy our backyard. We have a beautiful view of the city from the backyard and the mountains from the front yard. So it started building a deck, and we, not even a week later, get a note from the city telling us, no, wait, okay, before that. Oh, no, we did. We got a note from the city telling us to cease and desist. Whatever we were building in the back, that we had to cease and desist. And I thought, well, you know, you don't have to have a permit to build a deck in your backyard. So we didn't. We didn't stop building it because we thought, you know, they can come out here, but we looked at the building codes. We know, and my husband's a contractor, so we knew we could build a deck. So we kept building it, and next thing you know, the city shows up, and my son and I are out in the front yard pulling weeds, and the building inspector shows up, and he wants to go in the backyard and see what we're doing back there. He said, we have a complaint from somebody saying that you are building a major addition onto the back of your house without a permit. And I said, I'm not building a major addition. I said, we're putting a deck back there, but I would not consider that a major addition to the back of the house. He says, well, I need to go back there and see. So we went back there, and he looked, and he took out his measuring tape, and he measured, and he said it's more than 30 inches off of the ground. So like I said, our ground slopes, our backyard slopes. So I guess we thought, we knew that there was a 30-inch limit, but we thought it was 30 inches from where you're building it. But it is 30 inches from what he told us, 30 inches from the lowest part of the yard. Okay. So my husband and my son had been working on this for over a week, and it made pretty good progress. We had to take it down. We had to take it all down. And that was it. That was the last straw. So, yeah, this video is supposed to be about my perspective. So my perspective on this is, if people have so much time on their hands, they really should be doing something good. Now, maybe this guy thought he was doing something good by keeping all the riffraff out of the neighborhood. We were far from riffraff. When we moved in, we were fixing the house up and making sure that it's neat and tidy, but he picked on us. And it's not that I'm trying to sound like a victim, but he really singled us out. So I tend to think it was an older couple who lived in the house before us. And the man died, and the woman moved in with her sister. I think probably this person who's complaining was friends with them, and it didn't matter really who moved into the house. He was going to complain because we weren't his friends or her friends. Whoever's complaining, I think it's a he. And the only reason I say that is because our mailman has indicated that there is a man who complains about everything. So I don't understand why you can't use that time and that energy for good things. And why you can't let people live their lives. Why you have to care so much about what other people do. You know, I could understand if we were having loud parties and dealing drugs, or we're using our home for illegal things. I don't know what. But, you know, if there was a lot of traffic in and out, and we were noisy and we were filthy and had cars parked everywhere, or junk everywhere, I could see that. But, you know, that wasn't the case. None of that was the case. Leave people alone. Let them live their lives. You know, this person must be so unhappy with his life to be making us so miserable in a neighborhood that we just moved into. And, you know, if you've got that much time on your hands, go do something positive. Go down to volunteer somewhere. Go to the animal shelter and take the dogs for a walk. They're pinned up in those cages. Go help a sick relative or a sick friend. Or go pick up trash. Take a garbage bag and walk around your neighborhood and pick up trash. There are so many things you could be doing instead of harassing people like us who are just trying to, we're just a small family trying to raise our son. And, you know, why can't you mind your own business? Stop worrying about what other people do. If they're not breaking the law, if they're not bothering you, leave them alone. Mind your own business. You know, this person has made us so unhappy. And I don't want to say miserable, because gosh, there are people out there who in this world who really are miserable. But he's made our stay there miserable. It'll only be 3 years in August, and we're going to move already. You know, I don't worry about what other people do. I've got too much to take care of in my own life. I have too many matters pressing in my life, you know, to worry about someone else's weeds, what someone else is or isn't doing. And I don't understand why somebody has to be so persistent. And so, you know, it really was harassment. And I told the city that the last time they came out, that if this continued, we would get an attorney and we would take them to court for harassment charges. Because really, and the reason I say that is because there were people in the house directly across from us, catty-corner to us, and directly on the other side of the street, and the people behind us whose weeds were out of control. And you can just drive down the street, and people within 1 or 2 houses from us, you cannot miss their weeds and their bushes. You can't, well, there's one house you can't even walk on the sidewalk. You have to walk around a bush to get to the sidewalk on the other side of that bush. And it's been like that since we moved here, and nothing has changed. You cannot not see that when you come to our house. So I feel like we've been singled out by this person and now by this city. And, you know, I need to pick my battles, and I'm not going to let this be one. I really don't want to sue the city. I don't want to take them to court. And I have so many things, other things that need my attention in my life, and I don't want that to be one. So that's why we're moving. I know a lot of you have made comments for one of my other videos and saying don't let them get to us, but you know, they got to us. And who knows what they're going to get after we sell. But anyway, okay, that's my perspective. And oops, okay, that was 17 minutes. Sorry. I'm the Tipsy Gypsy. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoy my content, please consider making a donation to my PayPal account. You don't have to have a PayPal account to do that. You can just make a one-time donation, or as many donations as you want, as little or as much. My PayPal address is paypal.me/MountyRockin'. Thanks for watching. I'm the Tipsy Gypsy.